Hello, I'm Brad Kramer, coming to you from Prevaianio Consulting. Today, I want to talk about safety committees. Safety committees are a very powerful way to help you build some trust and do some other things that you want to accomplish in your business. Working with the employees that actually work out on the plant floor and operations, depending on what type of business you have. So, first of all, who has to have a safety committee? Federal OSHA doesn't require safety committees, but many state-run plans, such as Minnesota, require them. For example, in Minnesota, if you have 25 or more employees, or if you're in certain higher risk industries, you're required to have a safety committee. However, even if you're not required to have one, it's still a good idea because you can accomplish a lot of things for your business working with those employees on the safety committee. So, why would you want to have a safety committee other than if your state plan requires you to have one? First good one is a safety committee is a powerful tool for engaging and working with your employees, problem solving and doing all those kinds of things. Very powerful to be working with your employees that know why things happen out on the plant floor, how people get hurt. They see the dangers. They know the workarounds that sometimes they might be doing that you and management may not know about. The other thing is they drive employee engagement. When your employees don't feel like they're engaged with you, that you don't take their safety seriously, that things aren't being fixed, or maybe you have a list of things that you want to fix and that doesn't get communicated out to the employees very well, what's going to happen is there's going to be a lack of trust with your employees. So a safety committee can be a very powerful way to get that message out there and engage and interact with them. You may find risks that you didn't realize that you had when you start actually sitting down and talking to the employees on that committee and asking their insights and asking them, where do you see the risks? What kinds of things do you do every day that maybe you're not comfortable doing and that we can find a better way to do? You're going to hear a lot of ideas and things that you didn't realize were going on your plant floor. So that's an excellent way to learn how your business is operating, and they may develop solutions that you never would have thought of. If they're just bringing you a problem, they see an observation, something is being done unsafe. A lot of times they're going to have the insight, how can we do that safely? How would we like to do that as employees? Rather than if they hand you that problem and then you just hand them a solution or you go buy the piece of equipment or PPE or whatever the case may be. If you're engaging them in that problem solving solution, oftentimes you're going to find a much better solution that's going to be received better by your employees than if you offered it up yourself. And it also helps develop that trust. Like I said, when employees hear that you're concerned about their safety, when they're engaged in that process, it's going to build a culture of trust. So here's some suggestions. I'm going to share 8 suggestions from a lot of safety committees that I've managed in the work site and actually improved that culture within a company. And I've seen a lot of great benefits come from these safety committees, a lot of great knowledge helping develop employees, some ideas that I never would have thought of. So I'm going to share a screen here that has some of those eight um, those 8 suggestions here. So first of all, you want to make it voluntary, but representative. You're trying to get as many employees from, or as many different categories or departments and shifts and stuff like that represented on that committee as possible. Now, if you have a great big company and lots of different departments, that may not be feasible. Maybe I'm going to get to keeping it around 10 members in just a moment here. But if you can keep it voluntary and representing as much of your business as possible, it's going to be a more effective safety committee because you're getting a lot of different viewpoints. Second, you want it to consist of problem solvers. You don't want those employees that they just want to come and complain. They want to just get out of work for the hour of that safety committee for every month or however often you meet. You want somebody that actually cares about your facility and wants to make things better, and they're going to problem solve, right? And you want to make it be run by employees. When I've been the environmental health and safety manager of a facility, I tried not to run that meeting myself. I put it in, they as a group, the committee would vote for their chairman, their vice chairman, or president, vice president, whatever you want to name those positions, but they vote on who they want their leadership to be. And myself as the EHS manager, I was not that person. I didn't want to be that person. I took myself out of the running and said, I want it to be run by you as a committee. And I want people on the safety committee to come to you to get things added to the agenda. And the reason being is now it's their committee. Now they own it. It's not just something that some manager makes them do every month or whatever, or every quarter, however often you meet. But they run it. It's theirs. It's their baby. They're going to care about it. It is going to take a few meetings typically for the safety manager or whoever is kind of that lead person in that room to kind of push things off to them and say, okay, I want you to do the agenda. I want you to take the notes. I want you to run the meetings. But it's a great way to develop those employees that maybe you're grooming them to be a supervisor or a manager or something down the road. So you want them to take that responsibility and own the safety committee. And that'll make a big difference in how your committee runs. Limit the involvement of management in your safety committee. You definitely want to have a connection with management. You want that engagement with them. However, you don't want to fill that room up with 2, 3, 4 managers, and especially you don't want those managers that kind of have that reputation of just pushing things through. Your committee should be just that, a committee, not a group of yes men or something that just the manager pushes down everybody's throat. So you want to make sure that you have 1 or 2 managers in their tops. Because you don't want to have that intimidation factor. You want employees to speak freely in that committee so that they're able to voice their concerns without feeling like their supervisor or their manager is going to hold things against them after that meeting, right? The safety professional, if you do have a safety professional in your business that's running that meeting or that in charge of the safety committees, again, like when I was the EHS manager, I was there as a resource. Again, once the committee got formed and they got their leadership, they ran it. I was more like just making sure things happen and getting them the resources. So when I was in that room as a safety committee, I would give them the resources. Who would be the best vendor for a product? I might know things that are out there that they wouldn't because that's what I work in. A lot of other things like that I'd be a resource, but I wasn't running the meeting. How many people should you have in your safety committee? Right around 10 is what I found to be ideal. If you get too much lower than that, say 5, it's really hard to get that many people, it's really hard to have that small of a group and have everybody show up. So when you have a safety committee meeting, and you just might get 3 people showing up, right? If 2 people are gone that day. Or if you have too many people, it just gets to be unruly and there's too much side conversation. So right around 10 people. That might depend again on how big is your facility. How many, do you have more shifts? Do you want to have multiple safety committees and stuff like that? But 10 in a room is typically what I found to be right around the ideal number. You want to engage them as problem solvers, right? Ask them to solve that problem. Really think through that process. What you want is a safety committee, not a safety audience. They're not there to just listen to ideas and how you want to do things. But you want them to actually problem solve. Go to that whiteboard when you have a problem that you're trying to solve. Just write down as many ideas as everybody in the group can come up with. Don't qualify those ideas. You want them to throw things out and really get into that problem solving mode where they're more creative. And no matter how ridiculous a solution might be, you put it down. And a lot of times, some of the best solutions out there come from the idea that was the most ridiculous until it was, built on and used as a way for the group to build on somebody's idea. Finally, give them something to do in that facility. What are they going to give that plant, right? So it might be, for example, if you have a way of tracking observations, if employees are encouraged to turn in a safety observation every month, for example, your safety committee might be the one that votes for the best idea of the month, and that person gets a gift card or whatever you're able to give to your plant employees for that best idea, but have it be given by the safety committee so that the people on the committee feel like they're contributing something to the facility, and your other employees see that safety committee as being a group that gives back to the company, to the employees. So it's a great way to drive that engagement and really give that safety committee visibility, and your employees are going to appreciate that, right? So there's 8 tips on how to run an effective safety committee, how to put that together. If you have anything that you'd like to ask or want me to share from my experience, I'd be happy to. to share that for you. So reach out to me anytime you want, and I'm happy to help. So get that safety committee going and make it as effective as possible in 2021. Everybody have a safe and happy new year, and look forward to getting that safety committee running.